The Nikki Glaser Podcast. The Nikki Glaser Podcast.
Here's Nikki. Hello, welcome to the show. It's the Nikki Glaser Podcast. What did I say? Off to a great start. I'm here alone in St. Louis. Noah's in Arizona. Brian Frangie is in Los Angeles. Anya is in New York.
We're all alone.
I know. We are all alone.
Yeah,
Anya's betrothed is on tour. Avi is where?
He is in Dallas.
What?
On work stuff.
Oh. How do you feel about that?
Fine. I enjoy the time alone where I could just be gross and just do whatever I want.
Why is that the first thing we go to? It's so
Wait a
nice.
second. I do not change anything if Chris is here or not. Wait,
Come
what do
on.
you...
You're not.
Maybe I fart more. Is
Yeah.
that what you mean?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay,
I mean, like
so you
if I
just
like
let the
pick
farts
my
fly.
face
You
or
just
something.
said gross instead of fart.
Yeah, I think that's what they
Also-
meant.
I
That's
eat
the
the
only
same
thing.
food every day. I'm just like, I don't care if lunch is the same as dinner. Whereas if we're together, I think we try a little
Yes.
harder for each other.
Okay.
Same.
God, meal planning is so exhaustive. You have to be
Annoying.
like, what do you want? Chris and I just get separate things.
You're smart. Oh my God. I just read this article written by a divorce lawyer. I sent it to you guys.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
what
yeah.
what did that say? Will you
It's
give us
like-
the highlights?
Advice on marriage. It's really well written. It came out a couple of years ago, and my sister sent it to me. I don't know what that means. She's like, warning. But no, he's like, this is the most important thing he said. He's like, marriage is the most legally significant thing you can do other than dying. It changes your property ownership rights. It changes your obligations when it comes to support. It changes all kinds of legal rights. And you don't even get a pamphlet when you get married that explains that to you. Your inheritance rights
I would think
change.
having a child would be up there too with legal rights.
Yeah, he says like a partnership, sharing children, all that. He's like, he was like a romantic and saying whenever people come into his office, he urges them to go to counseling, and he's just shocked at how many people get married without thinking about it. He's like, more people put thought into getting a car than getting married.
Absolutely.
I mean,
That's why
doesn't
I'm
sound very
shocked by
romantic.
people doing. Well, I think he's saying it should be more romantic.
Oh, it should be more
Like,
romantic.
like treasure the idea of marriage and give it more thought, like you would your new
car.
Kia Sorento. Yeah.
And think of
I
the
am
car that's going to get you
perplexed.
through all phases of life. It's like if you choose something in your 20s, you're going to choose everyone's like, I want a Lamborghini or a Ferrari. But you have to think about all the phases of life. What kind of car is going to get you through all that?
You want that 4-wheel drive. You want those heated seats. You want.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I'm always like,
You
why
want
do people buy a
security.
Mazda? Like, why do people buy Malibus? I just don't understand. If you have this amount of money, why wouldn't you look at Kelley Blue Book and get the most reliably rated car that you could get for your money instead of, because there's so many cars that are shit that are in the
Yes.
same price range as something that's reliable, like a Toyota Camry or Civic, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Honda
I mean,
Civic.
Yeah. I mean, America's got a car culture and people are influenced by marketing. And, one year you're going to be like, that car makes me
But if you're buying a low end car, who gives a fuck what? Like, there are no cool cars when you're paying
Oh, I disagree.
$20,000. Really?
You could, there's a huge difference between having a Kia Sorento and a Mazda 6, which are in the same.
But Mazdas are gonna probably be better rated, right? Why would anyone buy a Kia then? Why would because
Especially
marketing?
nowadays, because you can easily break into a Kia.
Oh yeah,
and
they can steal
joyride.
them. My Uber driver told me about that. They're stealable. Okay, so what else did we learn in this marriage thing? Okay, so people need to give it more thought, that's why I said I don't go to people's weddings if you're in your 20s getting married and you haven't been together at least 4 years. I don't think your marriage is going to make it. That's the only prerequisite for me thinking your marriage can make it in your 20s. 4 years together at least. But otherwise, what are you doing? But that's me projecting.
It just struck me how we don't really think about it, and you have to go to a divorce lawyer's office he goes, a lot of people just have no idea what they're already in for. Like he said, your inheritance rates change, your ability to select a beneficiary for your life insurance policy has changed, your ability to hold property in your sole name just changed. And he goes, the first thing I do anytime anyone comes into my office is I just try to get them up to speed on what they're already.
Wait, you
involved
can't
in.
buy property in your own name when you're married?
You can, but if you already are a proper, I guess they're just entitled to half. I don't know.
That's why I'm going to have a million carve-outs. I'm going to have like...
You're doing the
This is-
prenup.
But why get married so you can visit each other in the hospital and have a wedding? Which, I mean, so what are the benefits of
You
getting
get to
married?
share health insurance,
Oh, that's right. Okay.
You get a tax break.
tax break,
Okay.
you get a little tax break. It's amazing.
How much? Is it? It's negligible. It has to be negligible, or everyone be getting married like they're all moving to Texas.
You get a free
To
foot
avoid
long.
taxes.
You get a free foot long from Subway. I know that once a year.
Mm-hmm.
You get
Really?
No.
What? I was like, what day
If
is
you go
that?
into Subway married, they give you a free sandwich. You didn't know that? Meatballs.
He did say most divorces are the result of a bunch of tiny resentments over time, not one big thing.
Mm.
He quoted this thing from Bonfire of the Vanities. Do you guys remember that movie? He said there's this line where they're like, how did you go bankrupt? And the guy goes, I went bankrupt the way everyone does, very slowly and then all at once. And he goes, that's how divorce happens. It's very slowly and then all at once.
Is this news to anyone? I mean, do you guys think that people get divorced because of one thing? Like, you can see it coming a mile away. Like, it always starts with little things of like, he doesn't take out the fucking trash. He never helps me with the kids. I have to do all the laundry. Or like, she doesn't fuck me anymore. Like, everything starts with, that's what everything in life. If you pick up a bad habit, let's say you start cheating or you start using drugs or something, you start with just like, I'm a little bit anxious right now. I just need a little extra pills to get me through tonight. And then the next day you go, I need some more. And then it snowballs. It all starts with something small, right?
I say it's even earlier. I can tell when couples are going to get divorced before they get married. I'm not going to say who, but I
you're
have
right.
my like the people that I know are married. I've got like 3 or 4 of them pegged that, and, you know, at 20 years at most, but I believe sooner for some of them. And then, you know,
20 years is a good run.
20 years is
That's
a
a
good
successful marriage, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I've got a few that I'm like, this isn't gonna last. No way. And also, I lost my train of thought again.
That's all right. That makes you likable.
Well, no, that's not why I'm doing it.
It looks like you're
I'm
pointing
not just
at
gonna
your
pull
wall.
one of those every.
Yeah, you do look like you're pointing to a chart
Do you
or
have,
some
like,
like postcards you have. Like
I have all
you know,
my
is there like a
I have all my lines for the podcast written down on the wall here.
Grab
I
a
read
pen,
them.
grab a Sharpie, Brian,
I
like me,
know,
and
I-
just start pointing, and it'll come back to you. I lost my train of thought too. I don't remember why I brought up the divorce lawyer article.
This is I'm in a brain fog today.
We're
You ever
all
wake up in
high.
a
That's what
fog?
we didn't tell the listener. We
I
all
think
got
that
there.
you brought it up because we were talking about
meal planning.
Yeah, and like how hard it is to cohabitate with someone and how
Right.
just hard it all is. Yeah.
What I was gonna say was I know who's gonna get divorced, but then sometimes they throw a curveball at me and they have kids, and then I'm like, well, now they're gonna last another 10 years.
Yep.
Yeah, well, that's a classic
not.
trick is like,
The old kid
let's
trick.
have kids to save this. Let's
'Cause
get
then you can
a
focus
pet
on the
together
children.
to save it.
Instead of
People
focusing
get
on each
cats
other.
and dogs. They move in together to save a thing. I've done all these tricks too, or like at least thought about doing them of like, this will keep him around or this will soothe her. I think is a lot of people like, she wants a baby. I'll get her a dog.
What do you think's more
Yes.
likely to save a marriage, a dog or a cat?
I think
How-
a cat
Both
because
garbage.
they require so much less work.
So you think a cat will make your marriage last longer than a dog?
Well, I think either are bad options and you should I think therapy would be the best option, but so many people have the worst opinion about couples therapy. Like it means you're already broken. I've heard like really intelligent men be like, then your relationship's over. It's
Yeah.
done.
They're
then
just
it's dead in the water if
scared.
you go.
I heard something very helpful from my therapist about couples therapy.
Okay.
So, Avi and I, we have a pretty like good, strong relationship, good communications for the most part. But there are some things where we're just like not aligned with. And we had this thing, and I was like, and I said, I told him that we need couples therapy, but we're only going to go to couples therapy if he sees a therapist on the side, because it's not fair that I have to see a therapist and then a couples therapist.
Amen, sister. Let me guess, she didn't like that.
she said, do not give him an ultimatum. And then she said, look, for couples therapy, you can do 6 weeks and think of it as like a 6-week course before marriage, like a prerequisite before marriage. It's kind of like you're taking a class and you're resolving all
to
these
get a
things
license
before you get married. Yes, exactly. And I thought, just like turning it around like that, as opposed to like going to therapy to fix something versus going to therapy to be prepared.
Yes.
Or it's like
yes.
physical therapy. Like, if your arm's hurting, you go to the physical therapist for 6 to 8 weeks, and that should be enough for you to learn the tools to continue maintaining the shoulder. And then you don't have to go. If you go to physical therapy every day or every week for your entire life, you're addicted to physical therapy.
Right.
Yes, I did like that there was an end date in that where she's like 6 weeks. And I said, oh yeah, I guess I can go and just say, hey, we want 6 weeks crash course.
I do believe that everyone should be working on themselves, whether it's like reading books about their selves. There should be some level of like, I could improve. I just don't understand when people think they just are right their entire lives and they were born right and everything else is the problem, not them. Like, that just doesn't. And I think that people can acknowledge, no, I have issues, but I can just solve them on my own. Well, then why aren't they solved yet? Why does this keep coming up? Like, you need help for it. Why? Again, physical therapy. Why do you go to that, but you won't go to something for the stubbornness? But that's how you get guys to go, is you compare it to like something physical. Yeah, honestly, it works. That's Chris denies that is why that he was open to it, but I believe, but maybe I'm wrong because he denies it and he's not a liar. So, but I thought that what really got through to him about us going to couples therapy was when I said, "Why do you go to a trainer?
Yeah.
If you have arms and legs and there's weights, why can't you just figure it out then?" Because he's like, if we can't figure this out, then what are we doing? I'm like, because you need someone to tell you what to do. And then I thought that like made it in my mind. I was like, that was his epiphany to be like, okay, that works. But he still maintains like that did not change anything that I thought. So I was like, but it's sound logic. There's no.
Your brain is a muscle, and so is your heart. And you're looking pretty weak,
no,
bro.
It's an organ, and I think both are organs.
Muscles are muscles. Your heart's a muscle.
Or around the heart. Wait, heart's a muscle?
Is your heart a muscle? I'm going to Google it right now.
I think it has muscles contracting it. Well, I don't know. Maybe you're right.
Your heart's a muscle. Your penis is not.
No.
Yeah, right. That was the name of that book, right?
Yeah, it's my first memoir.
Your heart's a muscle. Your penis is not. Your heart is a muscle. Your heart is a muscle.
Oh.
Google has confirmed it. This is from the Scottish
You can't control
National
it on
Health
your own.
Service.
Oh, good. I'm glad
you can't
they're
work out your heart. Or I guess you can. You can if you do cardiovascular exercise, it makes it stronger. Boy, we sound like a couple of idiots.
Okay, your brain is not a muscle. Your brain is an organ. However, this is from the Houston Methodist Church. So I don't know who to
This is
believe.
where we get our information.
Why is Google showing you those kinds of results?
Brian
Because
says as
Google's
a
a
strictly
sham.
Christian.
Google is
Google is
going
a sham.
downhill fast right now. When they went too far into the ad zone, and now when you Google something, you get 5 sponsored
So you
ads
go to the
first.
That's why you go to
Houston
Reddit
Methodist.
to Google things.
Oh my God, Nikki, you've changed my life. When you
Really?
said, yes, you've changed
Her
my life.
favorite phrase.
Nikki,
God.
you've
Yeah, I
changed
just
my
came.
life.
Uh-huh.
Instead of, remember that old show, This Is Your Life? From
Yeah.
the 70s?
Yes.
We have
No,
a
I don't
celebrity.
because I wasn't alive, but yes.
You have a celebrity on, and then they go, Kirk Douglas, this is your
This
life.
is your life. And,
And
they
then
show
have
like a
all
second
these
grade teacher.
people. Yeah, and the second grade teacher's like, I taught you math. And he's like, I don't remember you.
Yes.
You should have a thing, instead of this is your life, it should be, Nikki, you changed my life, because then it'll bring you more
That's
joy.
nice. Wait, why did I change your life? What did I
2
say
months
to you?
ago, you were giving the advice to just Reddit things instead of Google things. Reddit
Yes.
should be the new Google. I've been Redditing things nonstop, and I feel like I've gotten better advice. I've learned information so much faster.
Reddit is the best thing ever. It's
But
the
let's
best thing
be
because
clear,
everyone's
it's not fact checked.
right.
Neither
but
is
it's
Google. You guys go- I just
but
looked
you
up-
can find more facts on Google.
No, you have
because
to be
in
careful.
Reddit
You can find
they you
sources.
find links. People
Okay.
write links like to questions. If you have a question, there's someone. I mean, any like ailment or side effects you want to know of things. Like
Yes.
there's communities of people. Oh, that's what you're looking up. Okay.
I'm doing
Oh,
that
yeah.
too, Brian. Brian, we're
Personal-
the same.
Personal anecdotes work really well,
Yes.
especially with things like side effects. Did you take this medication and get any side effects? But if somebody
Yeah.
says something wrong on Reddit, other Redditors will be like, that's wrong. And on
Yeah.
Google, if the Houston Methodist Church is telling you that your brain is actually, your soul incarnate, there's no comments under that saying like, that's not correct. So you don't even get like the argument.
Yes.
Very true.
I think people are overwhelmed by Reddit, but it's really not that scary, and it's nothing to be feared like TikTok or like I don't
Twitter.
understand what these kids are talking about. Like there's a couple things you need to know when it says TLDR. It's too long, don't read.
Yeah.
There's like a couple ELI is explained like I'm, and then it's usually ELI 5 or I don't know what are other
ELI in if this was sports, or ELI in terms
well, that's
of
what I did for
The
therapy.
Bachelor.
Oh, right. Do they do that? on
Yeah,
there?
they do that.
There's like a Reddit for everything. It's so exciting. And we're going to do a Reddit dump today, which I'm
Yeah.
excited about.
But it's not like Twitter, where the community of Reddit is very supportive and they want you to get the information. Whereas if you post a question
and
on
they're
Twitter,
smarter.
they're much smarter and informed and
Yeah.
they want to help.
Because you upvote there's upvoting happening.
Yes,
So there's like a
yes.
consensus of like this guy's comment is the best. And I just find it interesting because the worst part about the internet that people can hide behind an avatar and not really show themselves and say whatever they want, that actually is cool there because people are free to share really embarrassing, really vulnerable things. And you read these stories of people's lives and whether they're true or not, like is up for debate. But sometimes I feel like I can suss out some people will say that's a shit post is another term
Sure.
that people use on there is a shit posting. If you're just like kind of trolling and making something up, but it's just, it's my favorite thing to do. And my favorite is always Ask Reddit because they just ask interesting questions and then people share their stories of like, what's the most frightening thing that's ever happened to you? What's the worst pain you've ever felt in your life? What's the worst odor you've ever smelled? Like just those kind of things are so interesting. As a comedian, you are sopping up other experiences and just information, and it's just a great way to experience the world from your little cave in your bedroom that has blackout curtains. I love it. And we're gonna do Reddit dump right after this, I think. Maybe not, but on this episode, you just wait and see. So last night I went over to my parents' house because my friend, his dad died recently, so I'm just like trying to, every time that I have any time free, I'm just like, I got to get in parent time because you never know. And so I went over there. My dad was at band practice, and so my mom was hanging out alone. And I walked in, she's watching Real Housewives of Orange County. And she always does this thing where she's like, you can change it. And I go, well, are you watching it? And she goes, no, you can change it. And I'm like, well, you can watch it if you want. Like, how much more time is left? I just started it. You can change it. And because she knows I hate those shows, because it's just, there's a woman on that show that has the biggest lips that are sticking out of her head like Donald Duck. Like I haven't seen, like they look like frisbees in her mouth.
What is that?
It's injections.
But
It's
is
just
that-
too much injections.
That's not on purpose? Did they want it to look that big?
I don't think so. But at that point, this happened to me before. You stop seeing your face the way other people see it. You just get adjusted to your face. It's like anything. Like if you have like floaters in your eyes, you kind of get used to them. So you don't really see it. But and I go, my mom goes, what did she do? And I'm like, those lips are insane. And she goes, oh God. And I go, I've done that before though. And she's like, you better watch it. And I go, oh yeah, I would hate to end up on a show that my mom can't pry her eyes off of. That would be the worst thing. I go, you don't seem to have an issue with it. She goes, I can't stand looking at that shit. And I go, you were just, if I wouldn't have come over, you would have been glued to this. So it's always funny to me when my mom is like kind of, Nikki, don't do this thing that Luann would do. And I'm like, or some awful behavior of one of these housewives. No, it wasn't Lisa Rinna. It's New Jersey. People that watch the New Jersey Housewives know exactly whose lips I'm talking about. They're worse. Lisa Rinna's, I like when I know when lips are full, but it's like the skin in front of, like behind them even starts to protrude. Like the skin is like pushing out.
Like it looks like you can remove the lips.
Yeah.
Like a
Yes.
Mr. Potato Head.
Yeah, it's stretching the skin a little bit, like on the skin. And so the skin, it looks like it's a duck, you know?
It's a little duck.
And I've had it happen to me too with too much filler. It's just like this girl just got too much. And it'll go away. It doesn't matter. But I just find it funny that my mom is always like, don't do that. Don't say that. And it's always something that I go, but that person has an enormous career because of this stuff. Or, you know, when we were doing our reality show, my mom would be so worried, like, what if people are going to think this and that? And I go, think about the worst person you know, like the most heinous personality on any of these shows. And there's several of them on these housewives shows where the people are just horrible people and they say awful things all the time. They're backstabbers, they're liars, they're fake, they're dumb. And you still watch them. So what is going to happen? People are just going to like you, watch you more. And if you met any of those women out, Mom, you would go up and say, can I get a picture? I love you. You would never, maybe in the recesses of, my mom doesn't like troll, but like I can see how she, you know, these people get a lot of hate online, but these people go out and about. Ramona is never being faced with someone being like, you dumb cunt. Like, even though that's all people say about her online or whatever. I like Ramona, but like you aren't faced with it, you know, like it's just online.
To how your mom views you. Because these are things that she feels you may actually do, so she has to warn you.
Don't.
It's not like she's like when she's not like Nikki, don't do what Casey Anthony did. Like she's not warning you against stuff like that. She's warning you against getting lip fillers. So it's interesting.
It is interesting because even when we were going to the Taylor Swift shows, I was wearing a really short skirt, and you could kind of see like the bottom part of my butt sticking out, and I just didn't care because I would care if I was going to a place with a lot of men. Because it would seem like I want men to look at my ass, and it would be like kind of getting men's attention. And I don't like men's attention when they're just like, I just don't like men being like, ugh, over me. So, I was like, I'm going to a safe place with like children, which a lot of people would go, why would you wear that around children? Because Taylor's wearing it on stage. She's wearing swimsuits. And like, why is this acceptable if I'm at a pool, but it's not here? I just don't get it. I don't get why you can't wear. My mom goes, that's pretty short. And my butt wasn't even hanging out. It just, if I bent over it. And so I ended up wearing gym shorts underneath because my mom was so like, I don't think so. It's pretty short. And I go, is a kid going to see my butt? And there aren't that many kids there, by the way. I'm just saying like there's more kids than probably men. Well, that's not true. Or I would say straight men. But it was just like, why? What is going to happen if I wear a short skirt? Like, what are people going to think? I like to pry it apart and go like, let's play this out.
They'll see your vagina.
And then what? They'll think my mom always
fall
goes,
in.
My mom the other night was like, Chris probably thinks those kids are crazy because we went to dinner with my sister's kids. And she goes, does Chris think those kids are crazy? And I go, no, I don't think so. And she goes, he probably thinks they're crazy. And I go, okay, so what if he does? What's going to happen? She goes, I just don't want people thinking Lauren's kids are crazy. What happens if they do? Because then they'll think that she's not doing a good job. And I go, so who gives a shit? So they think she's a bad mom, like, which is not true.
Because it reflects on your mom. Because then she'll think, oh, they think I
raised someone
badly.
who's a bad mom.
Right.
Yeah.
But like, who really cares? That's how I feel so impervious to any judgment. I was thinking about my Taylor Swift rant from a couple episodes ago, and I was like, oh my God, are people going to come after me? And I go, oh my God, if I unsubscribe from every Swiftie thing, I'll never see what people say about it. I can totally miss if it like gets picked up and people are pissed about it, or they're like, because I know they will be. And by the way, I was talking directly to Swifties on that one, like the fanatical Swifties, not the everyday Swiftie who's like, oh, I like that folklore album. I'm talking about the girls on Reddit who are like, how could she do this to us? Those Swifties are going to hate me for what I said. But I was also like, it literally doesn't matter what anyone thinks about me ever if I don't read it. I don't care what people say about me behind my back if I don't have to ever hear it. And that gets us back to what we were talking about criticism. I don't ever ask Chris, do I look fat in this? Because what I don't know, I don't care about.
Most people don't care what anyone is doing at any time. When they do comment on Reddit, it's because they're getting something out of it. They really don't actually care. No one cares about what anyone does at any time unless you're on a plane, and then everybody cares what you're doing. But other than that, nobody
People do
cares.
care. Yeah. I mean, in their real life, but just being someone in the spotlight where people have strong opinions about what you do, it can get to you of like, dude, these people don't like what I said. I mean, it's happened to me before where I've read things that are like the worst thing you could think about yourself. Someone found a way to synthesize that hatred that's in your brain and like put it perfectly into words on a forum where everyone is reading about you. And
I think
like
that's giving the troll too much credit. You're thinking that this person spent a lot of time thinking about what to say, and then they posted.
They didn't.
It
was so obvious. They just were able to jot it down.
They jotted it down, and then they went on with their lives.
I looked so fat, or whatever. This is I mean quotes. When I say I never ask anyone, do I look fat? This person didn't even need to be asked. They just knew it and put it somewhere where I could see it. And I just stumbled upon it accidentally. I never seek it out. And so it's like, but if you don't see it, it doesn't exist. It's like the way I feel about ghosts. At some point in my life, I had to say ghosts don't exist because otherwise I'd be scared all the time when I'm alone. All the time. I was a kid. I was scared constantly of ghosts. And then one day I go, if I convince myself they don't exist and I think people who believe they exist are cuckoo, I can live a peaceful life because I'm not looking for this thing. And so that's what I do with, if I can do that with people's opinions of me, I'll live a great life.
It's so true. If you don't see it, it doesn't exist. I mean, it doesn't exist, but it
I'm not even kidding
really
you.
affect
Like,
your life.
I've never seen.
Think about Kim Kardashian. If she never I think about Taylor Swift, and I'm like, I really hope she's not looking at any of this. I guarantee you, it's hard for her to eat. She can't go online without someone saying, like, there's nowhere online where someone's not talking about her, so it would be impossible. But she didn't do anything wrong in dating this guy. People are very upset about it and all these things, but she could avoid all of it, and then it wouldn't matter, and she could keep living her life and not adjust anything. And that's what I'm interested in, is people who avoid everything and just keep living their lives and wait for the wave of hatred or whatever to subside. And then they come back out and it's not there anymore because people have moved on to something else.
Yeah, you said it once to me. Successful people don't give little stuff energy. They just don't
sweat the small stuff. I think.
Yeah, you're like, you were bothered by something and you were like, I just realized I read somewhere that successful people don't like let stuff bother them, so I dropped it. You're like,
I was worried about someone being mad at me, one of my friends being mad at me. And I was walking down the street being like, I have to explain to her, like, that's not what I meant. And now she's going to think, and I was like, would Taylor Swift ever be obsessed with this? It would, because that was about to hijack my entire day. It was put a gun to my head and said, you know what? You're going to do what I want you to do today, which is nothing except think about this. You're not going to get anything done. It's a wasted day. And so looking at it through that lens did help me of like, and there's so many things that come up in the girls chat that I'm in with all my friends that I'm just like, man, because that doesn't, this thing my friend's bringing up, that would never bother me. I wish I could give them my brain for the day, borrow it, because that thing would never occur to me. And that way they could get something done today.
Because by the end of the day, they're like, now I'm a Swiftie. Fuck.
Yeah. It's a gift,
and I'm hungry for rice cakes and vegan cream cheese.
Okay, that's a little dig, but
I love it. I like your snacks. Yeah. I got into your snacks.
Okay, but I'll take it. But you're right. Like, I just feel like, and I'm the same way. Like, I get into self-hatred things that I drop on the girls chat where I'm just like, I hate myself today, and I'm sure. There's so many. I try to think about what my friends are thinking about, like because when my friends say something crazy or like that I would never worry about, I'm always like, God, I wish they could see it my way. So I try when I'm in those moods to imagine my friends' brains and how they perceive it, and like trying to borrow their brain for the day of like how they perceive
empathizing me, and like putting yourself in somebody else's shoes.
I don't want my brain sometimes because I'm hung up on this thing that doesn't seem. That no one else seems to care about. But
I
it's
don't
like,
think there's any reason why someone borrowing my brain would help them.
No one wants that.
Same.
Yeah,
somebody who would just be obsessed with their fucking teeth all day long and staring in the mirror and like, is this too long?
I've been there before though. I've been there obsessing about little like things. I was trying to think of the teeth thing for you. I was obsessed with, I look back at pictures of my teeth and I was obsessed with a tooth thing for a really long time. And
I was obsessed with my legs.
Really? And you
Yeah.
look at other people's legs. All you do, all
Oh my
Anya
God.
does when we were watching Succession was her teeth. I was like, oh my God, this is going to be a
was?
teeth-a-palooza for her.
Wait, what do you
I
mean?
just knew that you were still in teeth
When we were in
mindset. And so we were like watching Succession together. And I knew
Texting
I was
or
like
in the same room.
texting. I just knew that you were trying to get out of your
I
teeth.
kept
stuff.
being like, I gotta rewind. I missed a bunch of stuff.
Yeah,
I'm staring at, texting Nikki about what
about
exactly is
Shiv's
wrong.
teeth. Yeah. Well, Shiv's, they're a little darker and she still works. I'm like, yes.
I've been doing that. I have.
Yeah, because when you're looking for like a new car, or you start seeing cars everywhere. You start noticing cars. When you're looking for like a new backpack, you start seeing backpacks everywhere. Like our brains betray us constantly, and they're always doing little tricks. Like backpacks are always everywhere.
Yeah.
I tend to focus on them when I'm looking at backpacks or looking for a new backpack, but it's not like they just started showing up, you know? Wait, why are you obsessed with your legs, Brian?
Your brain is an organ, and it needs to be exercised. According to the Houston Methodist Church,
Yeah.
my legs. I don't know. Did you guys have this growing up?
Yes.
Did you? Were you ever self-conscious about the size of your calves?
Oh,
Yes.
Oh yeah.
My friends used to say that I was one of the Gaybauer brothers because Dan Gaybauer had the largest calves. And so Kirsten's probably laughing right now listening to this. She would call me Dan Gaybauer because his calves were ginormous. He was like a normal sized guy, but his calves were huge. And she'd be like, and I think one time I made the joke, which is the worst, where I was like, I have the same calves as Dan Gaybauer. And her laughter was so confirming that it like ruined my life, you know? Yeah. I have huge calves.
That's so
My
interesting.
calves are bigger than Andrew's when we measured them.
Your calves?
Yes.
So your issue is the opposite of my issue. I felt
You
like
have
my legs
small
were too
calves?
scrawny. I had little chicken legs. And now
We
I
should
go around.
measure.
We should. I mean, I'm not. I wouldn't. I mean, I've done a lot of squats since then, and I think my legs have gotten a little better. But I still feel self-conscious about my calves. And
a
when I
very
was
meaty
growing
calf.
up, I would do calf raises all the time,
Oh.
and I just wanted my calves to get bigger.
Did
and
you
they
see
never
that guy
did.
on MTV who got calf implants? Did you ever see that one?
Yeah, I
Yes.
think I did.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, not good.
They look like chicken
good.
breasts.
Yeah, it was huge. But yeah, I could see that. Like, I notice when guys have scrawny legs. It's not like I'm like, I would never fuck him, but I'm just like, oh, that poor guy, because I know he's probably self-conscious about. Like, I'm just projecting.
There was a
But-
picture of me with Chris in it from 2016 where I was wearing these. I made the mistake of buying shorts from Bonobos, which is just not
my
a
God.
good place to get shorts.
Okay.
And they were white, and they were too short. You know how like Adam Sandler wears shorts, and he's got great calves.
And they're long. Yeah,
They're
he does.
long. Wear
I love that you
long
know.
shorts.
Okay.
I can tell you, name a guy, a famous person. I can tell you if they got good calves.
That's interesting. That's your thing.
Yeah.
Anya's thing is
McConaughey.
teeth. My thing is forehead size, nose, eyes too close together, too much fat around your back area, lower back, all my like fat arms. Like we all have our thing of like what obsessed and know what other celebrities have.
Yeah.
And nobody is thinking about it. I wasted so many years of my life obsessing about my ice skating calves are too big. I never should have spent 7 years in the rink ice skating and develop. It's like, no, who cares?
Well, the
It's
thing I
not-
hated most about my legs was that they were too big, and now my legs are the most complimented thing on my entire body by a landslide because I never used to wear shorts. I never used to wear skirts because I hated my muscular legs. And now it's the thing that is my most complimented thing. I was hiding it my whole life. I had no idea for I would say until 2 years ago, I started embracing my legs because I just didn't give a fuck anymore. And then I was like, whoa, I have good legs. I had never heard that before. I had never thought of it ever. I just got made fun of for having too muscular legs.
You're like
And
the
it's-
nerdy girl in an 80s movie who wears a ponytail and glasses.
Yeah, I took off the glasses. It's so bizarre to me. The thing I hated more than anything about myself, I always wanted my sister's legs to be taken from her in a car accident because they were so perfect. They're such little tiny, like she had Giselle legs, and I always wanted those legs, no fat on them. If you squeeze them as tightly as you could, there would be no cellulite. There's just
Oh,
none.
wow.
And I was always so jealous. And Sarah Lena has those kinds of legs too. And I always wanted them. And now that's just not, it's just so weird that it was the opposite of what I thought the whole time.
It does seem
But-
like a lot of guys have calf issues.
Yes, they do.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You do all these calf exercises. Some people in high school would walk around with calf weights on their ankles all day to try to
What
get their
is
calves
that?
bigger. And then there was
and then
also
it
those
turns into
Skechers.
hairline.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the male obsessives.
Yes, of course.
You guys aren't worried about like your butts like we are. We all became obsessed with butts, not having one, then having one.
Yeah.
Now
it's
Ozempic is
back to
making us
having
not having one.
Is it what's good now? I feel like most men that I talk to about these things, they say they like big butts.
Yeah.
Isn't that what's good now?
Because they can't lie. Yeah.
They can't lie. I don't think they're lying to me.
Well, hips don't lie and butts.
Wait, are you guys worried? Do you think the Ozempic thing is saying now everyone's got to have small butts?
Yes.
Because
They're
that goes
definitely going
against what the
away.
men are celebrating.
I guess it's not about what men want as
Oh.
much because it's like
What? Not anymore?
well, the problem is, and Taylor Swift said it perfectly in her special, if you're large enough to have a butt, you have a tummy. If you're large enough, if you eat enough to have the perfect butt, you have a tummy, and your arms get sausagey. And then if you're thin enough to not have sausagey arms and a flat tummy, you have no butt. And so you can't fucking win, to quote my girl. You can't fucking win. So there's, it's just, but you can win, and it's called a BBM, and they suck the fat out of your stomach and they put it in your ass. And so that's the way to win.
Yeah,
Even though I saw a documentary about that and it looks terrible.
I think what a lot of men want in their heads, and this is not what I want, FYI, but I think they want like a rail thin waist and a huge ass.
Oh, cool.
I think that's what men want.
Yes. Well, they did it because
You
it's
think?
like,
What about boobs? Do guys not like boobs anymore?
They always
No,
they
they
love
want huge,
boobs.
gigantic boobs, a
Nothing's
rail thin waist.
changed.
It
They
needs to
still want
be
boobs.
basically, if you were in the jungle, you would be eaten immediately because you wouldn't be able to escape anything.
Right.
Is what they want,
Right.
or unless you
well,
can
couldn't
nail it
you
with
wouldn't be
your
able to
huge ass.
walk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they want us disabled.
They want you top heavy on the breasts, and then the waist incapable of holding them up, and then an ass that can't get you through a thin cave.
What is it about that ass that, like, because women, I mean, for so long, having a big ass was the worst thing possible.
Yeah.
And then it switched. And I don't think in the past it's ever been desirable to have a big ass until 2018. It was
Well,
like the
when
first time women were like, I want a big ass. It's not just, usually trends come and go. Like the 60s big asses were in. I don't think they've ever been in until the Kardashians.
Well, that's why I
thank
like
God.
big butts, and I
Women.
cannot lie, was a huge revelation. That
Right.
was a
Oh, yeah.
that was a statement at the time. Like
Yeah, he
people
pretty
were
much did say
secretly they were like, I like big butts, but I don't want to say because everyone likes little
Oh,
butts.
yeah. They had to be ashamed about it because
And then
that
it
was
comes-
during the 90s of like the
Yes.
fat free phase
Yes.
and like waif thin girls.
It's
Yeah.
And that's what the whole song is about.
And he's
you
like
can't
ashamed
deny-
that he likes big butts.
Yeah.
And he's coming out about it like
Yes.
he's like coming out of the closet.
Yes,
And-
yes.
And oh my God, that's crazy that it was like revelatory for
Yes.
someone to say that. And
There's
that's
a
why he was
lot-
like, I cannot lie.
I
He's
can't
like,
lie.
I'm not
stinking
going to keep
tired of
this a
lying.
secret anymore. That's
Mom,
so funny.
Dad, I like big butts.
A preference for a big ass on a woman was something to be ashamed of because it was
100%.
so not the norm. That's really interesting. I never thought about it that
And
way.
what are the kinks today? What are the ones today that people want to shout from the rooftops about, but they're
Piss.
afraid getting pissed on?
Yeah, getting pissed on,
Yeah, that's-
anal.
Anal,
Well,
I
that's
feel
just
like
me.
no one. Oh, I guess for women wanting anal, but for men saying they want anal is like as easy as saying I want a glass of water.
I think
Really?
it's easy. Yeah, you're supposed to have 7 glasses of anal a day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant for men to admit they want to be pegged.
Oh no, to get pegged.
No.
That's
unless-
in another 10
If you're a
years.
straight man and you want to get pegged, that
I think
is.
it used to be gay to say you wanted to fuck someone in the ass, like a woman in the ass. Like
Oh,
guys were like
yeah.
kind of ashamed of
Oh
it.
really? I didn't know that.
Like what? But why is it so normal now and it wasn't normal before? What was so shameful about it then?
I don't know, but I can only speak to the trends I'm sensing on
I think
the
it's
field.
porn, obviously.
Oh yeah,
Like
Well-
anal is just ubiquitous in porn. It's
definitely furry stuff is on the up and up. Furry and anime stuff is on the rise.
I don't know. There's sometimes some animated stuff on porn where I go, this ad is almost getting me because it's like a giant man and a tiny little girl, like not girl, but like a tiny, like it'll be like a cartoonishly, it'll be like an ape man, like a giant, like it'll be like a monster, or like a King Kong fucking a little tiny woman like on the top of the Empire State Building, and I like it, even though he's like tearing her up.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with me? Like, now I need cartoons because no human can even give me what I want to see anymore. I haven't watched porn in a really long time, actually. I'm pretty proud of I'm not proud of myself, actually. I kind of miss it.
Things
It's
are
so
changing.
great.
What
You gotta
stuff?
check out the landscape because it is there. The advancements in porn technology.
I mean,
porn
I was
always
there a couple
leads.
weeks ago.
Yeah, what
oh,
are you
when you s-
talking about?
Yeah, it's not been years. Are you kidding me?
Porn's always
I've
leading the
taken a
way
couple-
in tech.
Yes.
They're always
Oh,
the
really?
ones that are ahead of everybody else when they're adopting technology, like
AI.
deep fakes. You know, that was porn first.
Yes.
Lots of things.
Yeah, because
I can't-
we all just want to fuck things. I mean, because guess what? Sex leads everything. And that's why it's like so bizarre to me that we can't talk about it openly, because it
Yes.
literally is it's everything that anyone is motivated by. And if you are asexual, the fact that you don't want sex is something that's on the forefront of your mind a lot. Like
Yes.
it really defines who you are. So even if sex is not something you're interested in, it defines who you are, the mere fact that other people want it and you don't. So
Yes.
sex is everything. It's
Did
how
you
we
know that the
exist.
first successful full heart transplant was done in a porn?
No, it wasn't.
No, I was just kidding. It was just because of the technology thing I was saying. I couldn't think of any examples other than deep fakes.
Yeah, the polio vaccine was.
It was invented by Ron Jeremy in 1973.
Yeah, I mean it's all. Yeah, but I haven't dabbled in that in a while.
Are you worried about deep fakes?
No, I would. I mean, yeah, I am just on a. Like people putting my face in porn. No, I'm not worried about it on a personal level, but on a level of like for our media and like the truth. Yes,
Yeah.
deeply. And ChatGPT. I mean, people. I don't know anything about this, so this is kind of like a we know nothing segment. But people who do know about advancements in AI and the threat they pose to humanity are so fucking alarmed at ChatGPT. One expert that was on the Sam Harris podcast that I was trying to listen to, but I couldn't understand half of what they were saying because they're so smart, said that he thought it was going to be 20 or 30 years from now by the time that ChatGPT, something like that, would exist. And he is an expert in this field. And he says
Wow.
it is happening at such an alarming rate. I mean, every job is going to be replaced by this eventually. That you can literally type in ChatGPT, write a joke in the about traffic cones in the style of Nikki Glaser, and it will write a better joke than I could.
No, it won't. I mean, I
mean,
have.
it's you don't know what I've been into these days.
I'll do that right now, and we'll see what joke. I guarantee
You have it?
Yeah, I have it. I am on the forefront of all this
Traffic
AI
cones.
trash. Well, I gotta log in, so there's time.
Okay, well, we'll give you a second. Okay, so last night I went over to my mom's house, and or my mom's, they're not divorcing, so it would, but you know, she's
Not
we
yet.
know about marriage and property, and her name's on it. And we started watching The Departed, and because it was just on. We tried to watch we watched one episode of Intervention, but we were both like crying by the end of it because it was bringing up old wounds. I think of like, just. When I almost died and stuff. So I think we both were like, let's not watch anymore. Even though Katie did live at the end, I thought, do you ever try to predict on Intervention? Like, is this person gonna be okay?
Oh, they
And-
die sometimes?
No, they just like leave treatment or they relapse.
Oh,
And
right, right.
like at the end, it'll tell you they relapsed after 92 days or
What
whatever
was
it
this
is. And
person's drug of choice, Katie?
heroin and crack. And she was so smart. And this girl is 28 and she started doing heroin. She was like she's been doing it for like 13 years. And she lives with her boyfriend who she doesn't even fuck anymore. And he's just giving her heroin because he loves her so much and like doesn't want her to struggle and get sick. And because she's such a nag. But he doesn't even they don't even fuck anymore. He's a drug dealer, so he has it. And I guess he doesn't have a problem with it because he's like fine, kind of. But her family hates her so much. She has been in rehab 13 times and they've done that many interventions for her. So the family is just, the sister called Intervention, the TV show. It is like, please, can we do this? And the family is like, we're not doing this anymore. We're done with her. It's over. And I've never seen a family so like, I have to move on. She's dead to me because she's gonna die. She's never gonna change. And they all finally convinced the mom, because the mom's like, I can't be hurt anymore. I have to let her go. And they convinced her to do it. And they confronted her and she went. But she was like, I have to go home first. And they're like, why? And she's like, I'll go to treatment. I have to go home first. And they're like, why, Katie? Why? And she's like, well, because I need to get my things. And they're like, we'll get your things for you. Tell us what you need. And she's like, they go, do you need to go home because you want to use? And she's like, yes, of course. I'm never going to do it again. And they're like, you know what? Okay, we'll let you go. And it was nice because I thought they're going to lose her because they won't let. She was like, I already showed up to this thing with not enough heroin in my system because I thought I was signing a paper. You guys told me I was signing a paper. So I only did enough to get through signing a paper. I'm already freaking out. And it was like, let her go do some H and then she'll go. And she went to treatment. And like 90 days later, she's a lot, like she has fat on her body again. And she's just kind of like, and I don't even want to Google it because this was in 2014, but I don't think Katie made it. And I want her to make it more than anything, but I just don't. I don't know. I was like her mom. I was like, I've lost hope in this girl, but I really hope she did because she was so smart. Usually people on those shows are so like, they're always smart. Like heroin addicts are usually like very intelligent, and drug addicts they're usually smarter people than you would think, but you wouldn't know because their brains are fried. But she was like, everything she did, she was like, oh, I know my life isn't good. I'm doing a documentary right now to be an example for people not to do drugs. So things aren't great for me. And then she'd go and like hit the pipes. I told my mom, I go, I listened to this girl's podcast. She was so self-reflective. I really liked her, but I don't even want to Google it because I don't want to know. There's several Katies on Intervention, so don't tell me. But I want to believe she made it, but I just, if I was a betting
type
woman.
in a joke about traffic cones done by Katie from Intervention.
Yeah, let's find out if she is dead. No, the problem was she was never gonna. There's some people that like it won't kill. Like she was just not. She still looked beautiful. She still had all her hair.
Oh yeah, there's so many functioning heroin addicts.
Oh my god! But she wasn't even getting high anymore. The intake people were like, she doesn't get high anymore. She just gets not sick. So she was totally lucid. It was just like she just wasn't throwing up. She was never like, "What's up, guys?" Nodding off or anything. I know it was awful, and she was so aware of it. It was a really good episode. I think it was season 13, episode 1. It's on Hulu. Okay, Brian, what did it say?
I'm failing miserably. It's not letting me log in. I'm sorry.
Oh my god!
How much is your membership?
It's saying oops.
Yeah.
It just keeps saying oops.
How much is it?
No, it's free. It's still free.
Wait, you can just get ChatGPT for free?
Yes, you can just get it for free. But I'm telling you this, it's not as good as you think. And
okay,
I would not worry that much about AI replacing everything.
I can't wait to be replaced. Honestly, I want to. You know what can't replace? Bird rescue, which is what I'm going to do as soon as this job is taken from me. I'm going to just rescue animals, and robots can't do that yet. So I'll be fine.
I'm very proud of the WGA because we are fighting to get some rules set in place for.
Have you been on the
AI.
picket lines?
I've been on the picket lines. I've been picketing.
Really?
Every day.
Where do you go?
Well, not every day, but almost every day. I go. Well, I'm very lucky because I live within walking distance of Amazon and Sony, so I can just walk to either of those lots whenever.
What's the vibe there?
Vibe is great. I love.
Yeah.
Yesterday, Cheryl Hines.
Adam Ruins Everything. He's the spearhead of that? Like he's the face of this.
He was on the negotiating committee. He was elected to be a board member.
He's amazing.
Yeah.
What he has to say about it, like put a microphone in front of the guy, Adam Conover, who Brian writes for currently for his YouTube channel, right? You still do that?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, he that guy is the best. So Cheryl Hines showed up.
Cheryl Hines was on the line at Amazon yesterday, and there was she wanted to take a group photo with a bunch of picketers. I wouldn't go up to her and start talking to her. That's inappropriate. Right. But she wanted to take a group photo, and then she waved me over, and I'm in a group photo.
That's so sweet.
There's a chance I might show up on her Instagram page.
Oh my God!
Cheryl
Let's stay
Hines.
tuned.
Yeah, but no,
Larry.
And then at the Netflix studios yesterday,
I did a show with Cheryl Hines. She's so nice.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I did a game show with her like 6 months ago, and she was lovely to me. And that was the game show I talked about on the show where there was one person who was not nice. And if I ever get a talk show, I can't wait to book her. And then cancel her and go, it was because you were rude to me on that one show we did. And now you can probably figure out who it is because
God, I
if that show
forgot.
ever comes out, it's not Cheryl Hines.
I know. You just narrowed it down.
Well, there's 2 other women on it too. So now I feel bad because one of them is nice and you won't know which one wasn't that cool. Or yeah. So anyway,
At Netflix,
here's my thing. How many hours are you walking around?
They oblige you. That's what they say, to walk for 4 hours a day, Monday through Friday.
That's a lot
And
of steps.
I'm not sure everybody's doing it.
Are you doing that?
I will
4
not confirm or
hours?
deny whether
Do you
or
have
not.
friends?
Well, that's the thing. No, I
That
don't.
you gotta make some.
I go. Well, so the first day I did it, I just want to say quickly that at Netflix yesterday, Imagine Dragons showed up,
That's what I saw that.
and they did a free concert for the
Were
writers.
you there?
No, I was at Amazon. It
Who showed
seems
up
like-
there?
It seems like
Hootie?
Yeah, Hootie and the
741.
Blowfish showed up, and they begged us for money, and I was like, "This is not." But it's really I feel very proud of the union, and it's fun. But I go there, and the first day I showed up, I have no friends. I didn't know anybody that was out there. I was kind of surprised, but it's because everybody that I know is on the east side, is in Hipsterville, and I'm now on the west side. So the east side is like where all the writers that I would know would be picketing. And
You want to make friends and go, hey, what do you write?
So the first day, I didn't talk to anybody. I walked around in a circle. I felt very lonely.
For 4 hours or some therein?
Some amount that would keep me obliged to the union.
Yes.
And the second day, I was like, you know what? I am going to talk to somebody. So I did a couple of laps with the picket line, and I just looked for people who were also alone.
Yes.
Yes. And I found a guy, and I walked up to him, and I said, hello, do you want to talk, or would you rather walk in
You
silence?
sound like an AI. That's the problem. Okay, you said, would you rather talk or walk in silence?
I said, hello, do you want to talk,
good-
or would you rather walk in silence?
That's a good
And-
opener.
And he thought about it, and he said, you know what, I'll talk. And
That's nice.
Yeah, and so then we wound up talking, and now every day since, I've talked to a different person on the line.
By saying that line?
Sometimes they talk to me.
Oh. Yeah,
Some-
well, Brian, you're very personable.
Yeah. And there's
I
been
know,
great.
but
I would be
wanna talk
lucky
to
to
you.
be next to you in a picket line.
Yeah, we talk, and we talk about all sorts of shit. We get deep fast too.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah, I guess it's you got to be out there if you're not working. Like I would probably be out there if I lived in LA.
Yeah.
doing it. But
well, it's such a great situation because you're going up. It's like you're going up to a person and you're asking them to talk, and you know that you have to be there for hours. And so it's not like you're talking to someone and you're like, God, I wish I could just leave. Why do I have to be here? You have to be there. So you're like
Yes.
guaranteed at a certain amount of time talking to somebody.
But you could just kind of lap them or something, or kind of like mosey back, or go, oh, I gotta tie my shoe, and
Well,
like find someone else.
That
No?
happened once, and it was really embarrassing.
Why?
Well, I mean, this person.
Someone tried to get away from you.
Yes, this person came up to me. She was like, drama or comedy? And I was like, oh, comedy.
Oh, that's the opener.
So drama or comedy? And I was like, oh, comedy. And she's like, oh. And then I guess the conversation, it only lasted like less than 2 minutes, because then she was like, all right, I gotta go. And then she saw, oh, hi, Lindsay, or whatever. And she got away from me as fast as possible.
Right.
I didn't say anything that would cause her to do that. It was just she sussed out the vibe.
Maybe she was interested in you, and you came up that you were engaged.
That didn't
Because
come
that
up.
would make me. Oh, it didn't.
No,
Okay, well,
I
maybe
think
she
it was.
saw your wedding.
She looked at my
You don't have
IMDb
one.
page, I think, and was
Yeah.
like, "This guy's not worth my time."
Oh, you're right. She just privately Googled it real quick,
Yeah.
or Reddited it. Okay, we'll be back with Reddit dump after this. All right, we're back. Let's do Reddit dump. This is your Reddit dump. Okay. Why do oh these are the dumbest celebrity tweets. So it's from Pop Culture Chat. It says dumbest celebrity tweet, and it's BB Rexa, who I played against her family in Family Feud, and she was very lovely, but she had a dumb tweet that I probably would have made the same mistake. It said, so she's responding to a tweet that says, if you had the chance to time travel, where would you go? And she wrote, I would go to Paris, 1940s.
Oh.
Oh my god.
That's just someone who grew up being a pop star. Okay.
Let's hope so.
Okay. Yeah. No kidding. Okay, so in the comments though is where people listed all other celebrity tweets that they loved, and there were some good ones. Okay, so this one said, not so much dumb as poorly timed, but I still cackle when I think of the time The Weeknd tweeted, "Let's go," just as Russia bombed Ukraine. Okay, someone posted Lindsay Lohan's tweet. She said, "Why is everyone in such a panic about hurricane? I'm calling it Sally in parentheses. Stop projecting negativity. Think positive and pray for peace." Oh my God. This one was painful. This is from Rita Ora, who I don't mean to name drop, but I'm also on a show with her last week, on Thursday. It was Celeb Game Face with my mom on E. We played against Rita Ora and her sister. But this is Rita Ora. She said, "Dropping my new song Monday if this gets 100,000 retweets." It has 1,800 retweets. People purposely did it. And people said, "Biggest secondhand embarrassment I've ever had for a celeb. The fact that she pretended she was hacked because she was nowhere near the RT amount she set." She said she pretended she was hacked. This one is so good. Okay, so ASAP Ferg. So someone posted about ASAP Ferg. He goes, "ASAP Ferg announces the name of his forthcoming album." And then there's a link. And ASAP Ferg responds, "Second." And then the guy writes back, "Sorry if there is an inaccuracy somewhere. Something we need to fix?" And he goes, "You said forthcoming album. It's only the second."
Oh, no.
That's so cute. That's a cute one. Then Joel Osteen, you know that fucking hick?
Yes.
Yeah. Who didn't let hurricane, victims stay at his compound. Which, by the way, I was kind of thinking about that, and I was like, I don't know if I'd want a bunch of hurricane victims at my house either. But maybe I'm reading it wrong. Like, I remember everyone was so mad at Joel. I hate Joel Osteen because he's obviously a smart enough guy to know that what he's preaching is not true, and he's a charlatan and a corrupt person. But I don't know that I want a bunch of fucking displaced hurricane refugees at my beautiful compound either. But I would do it because I didn't want to be a dick. But you can't blame the guy. Am I wrong?
No.
For tricking all those people?
For not tricking. No, for just not. The biggest thing that people get mad about him. Yeah, they said, remember when Joel Osteen refused to let victims of Hurricane Harvey into his church? And it can hold like 15,000 people after they've been flooded out of their homes. He saw what happened to the fucking Superdome in New Orleans. It turned into like a homeless camp.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
But it's a church.
Yeah,
it's like the whole point of a church is to welcome in the people who are suffering. Yeah, it's like if it was his house, that would be different. Which was like a Curb Your Enthusiasm storyline. And
I get it, but there's a lot of money that goes into that church to make it nice. I hate this guy. I want to be clear. I think he is the devil. I think he's a bad person. Every time I see him on TV, I just go, ugh.
Yeah.
But I don't kind of blame him for this because it would have been completely trashed. But I guess you're just supposed to allow that.
Well, that's the whole point of a church.
It's a really nice
and they
church.
have enough money to rebuild.
But so fuck that guy. Keep their doors locked, and so fuck them. They really
Well,
it's like
these
all
days you have to.
But it's been for decades. It's like why don't churches have open doors? Because
the homeless need places to go, and it'll get trashed. Don't we want to keep things nice sometimes? But like I also don't know what do you think the solution is?
Go to Joel Osteen's.
The reason why it's upsetting is because it's hypocritical. It goes against what he's preaching. He's like, help people, turn the other cheek, Jesus, all that stuff.
Charity,
the cross. He says all those things, and then and then when it comes time to put his money where his mouth is, he doesn't do it.
Yes. But there's also the thing of like, it would have gotten trashed. I mean, I want someone who's smarter than all four of us to weigh in on this because I don't see why wanting to protect something that a lot of money and effort has been put into building. I mean, maybe you make it hurricane, like refugee accessible and like you build it so that it can, like with that in mind, that someday this is going to be a place where people are going to need to go. I don't know.
Yeah,
Like,
not
none
like-
of us open our homes to victims of things. So, and not that it's his home. I know it's his church, but like, you don't open. Would you want them? Would you go to a gym that is your gym, that your business that you run, or like your business, your cafe, and let people sleep there?
But it's a disaster. Where are they supposed to go?
it's temporary. Temporary
Yeah.
disaster. It's not like this is the
FEMA,
solution to
the
homelessness.
government is supposed to
That's
come
where our
in.
tax
Yeah.
dollars.
Yes.
supposed to
So
go to.
I'm not defending Joel Osteen. Actually, I kind of am. I don't know what's wrong with me. What the fuck is happening, you guys?
I mean, I'm
Oh,
with
wait, are
both
you
of
wearing
you.
Are you wearing a
just don't
Joel
wanna be
Osteen shirt
hypocritical.
right now?
Oh my god!
No, don't. I have a jacket on. Don't let him see. Okay. So Joel Osteen says, this is the tweet that is embarrassing. A true friend walks in when everybody walks out. Okay, that's hilarious.
Oh.
A true friend doesn't rub it in when you make a mistake. They rub it out.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
I love an
baby.
accidental masturbation joke.
Hell yeah. That's a good friend.
We need more
Dr.
true
Phil
friends.
tweeted once in 2013, if a girl is drunk, is it okay to have sex with her? Reply yes or no to Dr. Phil. Hashtag teens accused. It just seems like he's asking for his show.
Yeah.
But also, I don't know. Again, I found nothing wrong with this tweet
Yeah.
because it's asking if a girl is inebriated. I think people are shocked by this because they're like, of course it's not okay. I'm sorry. No one would be conceived if our dads didn't fuck a girl who had been a little bit drunk or drunk. I just don't believe that people have sex. I think it's, do you know what I'm saying? Maybe I'm wrong. I'm like, am I begging to get canceled? I don't know what I'm doing.
Wait, you're saying
Yeah, we
I
that
gotta look into my
we
we
brain.
wouldn't, you're saying we wouldn't
He
have been
says, if
born?
a girl is drunk, is it okay to have sex with her? I think people are upset about this tweet because they're like, of course it's not okay to have sex with a girl
Right,
that's
right.
drunk.
I think it's the reply yes or no. I don't know. For some reason, like
It's
could we
funny.
have a different
Yeah.
It sounds
like-
like he's checking before he takes action.
Yeah, that's why it's funny. But I think people are offended because they're like, of course it's not okay. But I would say, yes, it's okay to have sex with a girl who's drunk. But also, this is, I mean, again, this is another thing that is a sticky situation. But I think most people who have sex, the girl is drunk. Like,
as long as she consents.
It's a
long as
yes,
she
but
says
then
yes.
what if she's like, yeah, fine. Like,
It
what if she
reaches
says
a
it like
level.
that?
Yeah, what if she's like the Love Is Blind person? Then can you have
What do you mean?
Asleep.
what's
Oh,
her name?
asleep. Yes.
No, the girl from Love Is Blind who you were
with the
who
baggy
you
cheeks.
did a good
Micah.
impression, Micah.
Oh my!
Micah.
It depends
Yeah, I
what
mean,
level. It reaches a level where it's not okay
And
anymore.
by the
but
way,
where is that
alcohol
level?
makes you do stupid things. Alcohol is a retardant. I don't think that's the right word for it because the retardant is something that puts
Depressant.
flames out. It is, well, it's not only a depressant, it makes you stupider. It makes you dumber. That's why you do things that are quote unquote brave. I almost said hashtag brave. That's why you do things that you're like, oh, liquid courage. It's not because it makes you courageous. It makes your sense of fear and observing things around you. It diminishes those things so that you are able to step out on that ledge. You are able to say that thing to that person. It's not because you're like suddenly have self-esteem enough to do that. You're just stupider. So
Yes.
why is it okay then if girls get stupid, like they'll only fuck you if they get stupider? Shouldn't that be wrong then? Any amount that makes you dumber and a less with it?
He should have asked, "Is it okay to have sex with someone borderline unconscious?"
He should have asked, is it okay to have sex with someone who just got their PhD?
Well,
that really-
because they got smarter.
yeah, that really bombed.
Man, I take that off.
My brain was like,
That wasn't that bad.
I saw the logic of it.
Yeah.
ChatGPT write that for you? Okay.
I was able to log into ChatGPT and I was able to ask it in case we want to
Okay.
go back to that.
Yes, please.
I have 5 Nikki Glaser jokes
About
traffic cones. Okay.
Great.
Number 1. Traffic cones are like the Kardashians of the road. They're everywhere, they're distracting, and no one knows why they're famous. The problem
Okay,
is
so
traffic cones are not
terrible.
famous.
Are not famous. But listen, I thought
Nice
I thought
job,
we were
robot.
the first two were good.
yeah.
They're everywhere. They're distracting.
Yeah.
Let's come up with a better one. And
and no one knows why they're so orange.
oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I like that.
I mean, it's
See, this is why you're the You're on the picket
right.
lines.
They're
They're everywhere.
Protect that talent.
All right.
I was thinking of
No, read
like
more.
shoving them up your ass or something, and then I was like, well, that's not what the Kardashians do. Okay,
They're everywhere. They're distracting.
And they almost exclusively date black people.
wait a
That's
second.
true,
Okay, what's the
traffic.
other jokes?
You know what's worse than hitting a pothole? Hitting a traffic cone. At least with a pothole, you can pretend you're off-roading. With a traffic cone, you just look like a drunk driver.
What?
So that's the thing.
I like this. I like
But you know,
it.
wait,
Terrible.
I dare you, without context, to go on stage and try one of these jokes and see if it gets a laugh. Don't tell them it's ChatGPT. Because
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
telling you, this shit is not good. It's not
no,
good.
it's not good. That's not good.
I don't trust traffic cones.
Because wait a second, hold on.
Oh, okay.
Wait, let me just go back to that joke. So a traffic cone. Wait, say it again. So
You
like
know
when you
what's-
feel like
What's worse than hitting a pothole? Hitting a traffic cone. At least with a pothole, you can pretend you're off-roading. With a traffic cone,
There's
you just look
logic
like a
behind
drunk
this, though.
driver.
but there's logic behind that.
Because
Like,
it's copying your logic. It's plagiarizing you.
I know. I like it.
It's
I
not
kind of,
off-roading. A pothole is in the road.
I know, but it can feel like because you're like bouncing like into this pothole, you can feel like you're like, oh, I'm rugged terrain. Like that makes sense to me.
You know what's worse than
But
hitting
the
a
problem
pothole?
is what?
Getting killed. At
Well,
least
they
when you
put-
get
they
killed, you can pretend you're it's not your
Stop.
fault.
I am defending ChatGPT. They picked two things that happened on the road to compare them. It kind of makes sense. The only problem is you don't hit traffic cones that often, and there's no reason to compare the two.
Today, you have defended
one's
Joel
asking.
Osteen, you've defended Dr. Phil's date rape, and now you're defending
You're canceled.
ChatGPT.
Oh my god! I just want to open a bird rescue. Okay,
I don't trust traffic cones. They're always telling me to go slow, but they never offer to pay me for my speeding ticket.
What the fuck? This is
I love this so much.
it's our special friend.
Is this kind of insulting? Because this is what it thinks a Nikki Glaser joke is.
No, it's good. I'm
This is
proud
only
of it.
version 1.
It's so cute. It's like a kid like learning how to do comedy or something. Like it totally sounds like a 5-year-old. Like, and that's funny. That one is the best one of the three because traffic cones do. Wait, so they never. So they
You don't trust
make
them.
you go. Wait a second. So I'm
It
confused.
doesn't make
though.
sense. You're
It
confused
doesn't
for
make
a
sense.
reason.
The traffic cone.
They're
makes you
always
go
telling you to
slow.
go slow, but then they never offer to pay for your speeding tickets.
Look, that does not make sense.
No.
because in ChatGPT's mind, going slow and speeding are the same thing, and so it's equating. Well, it would make sense if it said, "But it never pays for your tickets when you get pulled over for going too slow."
Yes.
You know, like it's thinking a speeding ticket is like a ticket you can get for going too slow, which I guess is a thing, but we would not call it that.
There is a stand-up comedy robot. Did you know this? A Japanese, I think, robot. That
Oh yeah, I've seen those on YouTube.
It does. It's a literal physical form mechanical robot that goes on stage and it tells jokes. And the scary thing about the robot is that it can tell jokes, unlimited jokes every second, and soon it will be able to have AI audience members. So it's like it can test out unlimited jokes at nauseum to unlimited audience members. So it might actually be able to come up with good jokes.
GTP would laugh at that joke that was just told.
Right.
Because it doesn't know. It wrote it, so why would it not think? Why would it be able to judge whether it's good or not?
It's tough when it comes to fun humor.
Taste. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this is one more tweet that is really funny. So some performer called Shad Moss, I guess. I don't know who that is. It said, "Travel Day, NYC press run for growing up hip hop. Let's go. I promise to bring y'all the hottest show ever, May 25th on WeTV." And it shows a picture of him. He's just taking a picture. You can't see him in it of a private jet. And then someone on Snapchat posted that guy. And he says, so this guy, Lil Bow Wow, I guess that's Lil Bow Wow, is Shad Shad Moss. He goes, so this guy, Lil Bow Wow, is on my flight to New York, but on Instagram, he posted a picture of private jet caption, traveling to New York today. And he's like, you see him like looking at his post on his phone, like on a Southwest flight in the back. It's so good. And then, yeah, that's
actually
so
kind of sad.
I know.
Let's go to final thought. Noah, I want you to play the one where the guy's talking in his car. And this is labeled how to keep someone from getting defensive in an argument.
These 3 responses will keep somebody from getting defensive. My name is Jefferson Fisher. I'm a trial attorney, and I teach people how to argue and communicate. When it's your turn to respond in an argument, you can actually keep somebody from getting defensive. If you want, start with what you agree with. Now, you don't actually even have to agree with what they said. You can go macro and just agree that the 2 of you are talking. For example, you can say, I agree that this subject is worth discussing, or I agree that we should talk about this. As long as you just use the words I agree, you automatically bring down their wall. Number 2, tell them what you've learned. It can be as easy as, after listening, I've learned that this topic is really important to you. As long as they hear the phrase I have learned, it makes them feel like they're educating, like they're understood, and now they're less defensive. Or number 3, you can try using the phrase that's helpful to know. If you tell them that they've been helpful, it makes them feel like they're invested in their own mutual understanding, and then they're going to be more receptive to what you have to say. So try that and follow me.
How good or how simple and kind of manipulative are all of those?
I know.
I can see it working. I hate that it would work because it's just like how dumb are people easily tricked? You could be like, I agree with you. You're a dumb piece of shit. You know, I've learned today that I've learned a lot from you that you're stupid and I hate you.
But he even says
It's
like
helpful
just
to know
macro
you're
things.
stupid.
I agree we're talking about this.
Yeah.
Just to say that is so funny to me. I agree that we're both inhaling oxygen right now and our hearts are muscles.
That is good to find a place of common ground, at least to start
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
women do this all the time. You read a dating book and it teaches you how to talk, and you're like, ugh, I have to learn how to be like, you're right about this idea I actually had.
Yes. I do find this to be very helpful in talking to men, but I think I'd see through this. I would want this a little bit more in like when I'm in arguments of someone doing these things for me and saying what they've learned or what they understand. But I do this. This is how I communicate. Like if I get into a tiff with my beloved, I always try to see his side of things and explain to him what his side of things is so that I don't have to hear it anymore. And so that he knows I get it, you know, like I want to, but at the same time, they don't like to be interrupted. So you might have to listen to it again fully. And then you can take a beat and go, here is what I think you've said. But I also find that sometimes that doesn't actually work because they'll, you know, and I've done this before too, where you hear someone repeat, you know, for instance, recently I was like upset about something that someone texted me and I didn't just let it slide. I was like, that wasn't cool or funny or something. I replied like, I don't like it. And the person said, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean it that way. And I was so proud of myself because what I did start typing back was, yeah, that really hurt because of blah, blah. I was going to explain all of my feelings again. I didn't explain my feelings at first. I just go, that didn't feel good to read or whatever. And then the person apologized. And then I was going to go, because, and you know why it didn't feel good, blah, blah. After they gave me the apology and I was writing all this stuff, explaining why exactly that did hurt me, even though they just acknowledged, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it that way. And I go, why do I need to send this? I want to do what I want from others, which is when I apologize and say, I get it. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it that way. They forgive me and move on. They don't keep going back to it and going, because it did hurt that you said it like this. And that did make me like, I understand needing to be understood and feeling like, okay, they don't really get it. They're saying they get it, but I need to repeat it. But I was really proud of myself to erase that entire message I was going to send explaining, because I hadn't explained yet why it was hurtful. And I needed them to know that. And then I go, no, I don't. They know it was hurtful. They said sorry. This is over. And I just said thank you and done and move on.
It's that urge. It's like kind of like a primal urge to twist the knife, because if you got hurt, You want the immature thing, which you successfully averted, would be to make them now hurt in retaliation. And you were like, you know what? I'm going to be I'm not going to do
worse
that.
about it.
Yeah.
And you have them in a vulnerable position where they've just apologized, so that you know that they're open to like taking more punches.
Yes.
You know, like whenever I apologize and I'm like, I was wrong, pile it on me. Like I can now, I'm just like, I'm a punching bag. Like I'll apologize for everything. I'll give you so much more of like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. Like, you can't get it enough from me. I'll just keep piling it on. So why not just keep telling me, and it hurt when you did this, and this is how it hurt. And it's just like, once someone apologizes, try to let it go. Try to walk away from it at least until your anger subsides, because you're still angry from before they apologized, and you still want to be.
You seem like not a grudge holder at all.
No, I'm not.
You
I
move
let
on
grudges
so
go
fast.
because I want people to do the same for me.
Yeah.
Do you ever get to
And-
the point though where you
I can forgive anyone for anything. Literally, I always say Trump could go, I'm so sorry, I don't know what I was doing, and I would forgive him. I really would.
I believe
and I
that.
hate him more than anyone.
I've said it on the podcast before. I'll say it again, is that you have forgiven people for things that I can't believe.
Well, yeah, because if they're sorry, if they really make an amends and they say, I can't believe I did that, I don't know. Because no one wants to be the person, no one can help what they are. Even if you murder someone, you can't help that your brain chose to murder instead of talk it out or whatever. Like, you have a fucked up brain. And if you are able to reach a point where you go, I can't believe I did that. I mean, I really do think when people say like, oh my God, I can't believe that person, you see these fathers hug a criminal in court and the criminal like murdered their child. And you go, how could that father ever hug the person who killed his child? And you were just mind boggled by it. I would be that father. If the criminal really was like, I can't believe I did that. I've done soul searching in prison. These are all the steps in my life that led me to take your son's life instead of doing anything else. I would be able to see this person couldn't help that, and they hate that they did it. And I relate to that feeling. Do you know how many things I've said in my life that I'm like so embarrassed by? Who can point a finger and say they've never done something they regret? So just forgive people because you've done it too.
Well, forgiving is not an entirely selfless act. When you forgive someone, you are also releasing yourself from holding feelings of negativity and having that person have any power over you anymore.
Yeah.
Those people can take
Primarily.
over your life, take over your brain, and you could really spiral into a depression just because someone's wronged you. And if you forgive them, it's just a release. It's the same thing.
It's hard to do when they don't apologize, though.
Yes.
Then I hold on to it. If they don't apologize, I just like love hating people.
And so
like,
many
really being
resentments can never, like, so often you won't get that apology. Maybe the person's dead.
Or maybe the person just isn't capable. They have a personality disorder that makes them incapable of feeling empathy or feeling bad about what they did.
Still forgive them. Still
Yes.
forgive them. As Joel Osteen
that
would say, still forgive them.
That I
Because
struggle with a lot more.
Then
because
it's you doing it for yourself at that point.
Actually, I don't struggle with that because I am able to look at it as like a brain abnormality. Like they are sick in the head as opposed to like they are a bad person. Yeah, I'm
That
able
could
to
be
see
your
it. Like they don't have an arm, you know, like
Yeah, 'cause
a
it has
guy with
nothing to do with
no
you.
arms can't hug me. So a guy with a part of his brain that didn't get developed can't feel empathy for me, can't see what he's done wrong. He's a narcissist. That's a personality disorder. It's a diagnosable thing for someone to have a narcissistic personality disorder, which makes them incapable of giving a fuck about you.
You will
or,
forgive them,
sociopaths.
but you will never let them do it again. That's the. I mean, you can forgive them to release
you protect yourself. You don't forgive them. You just excuse it because it's like you're mad at someone for not doing something that has a disability. I look at it as a disability, something that's not their fault. That this person cannot apologize or be a good person and is sociopathic and is jealous and is trying to ruin my career by saying these shitty things. Like I've had people do horrible things to me behind my back. That one comedian in St. Louis who was like a bully to me. I still hate her, but I know that I feel sorry for her childhood and I feel sorry for how she was bullied in life to be so threatened by me that she has to she tried to ruin me. And I would have been the same. If I were born into her brain with her life experiences, I would have done the same thing to me. So I cannot fault her. But I can still hate her from afar, and I will forever and ever. Thank you guys for listening to the show. That's it for today. Don't try to send me people of guessing who that person is. I'll never reveal her name. Luckily, you wouldn't know her name because she never made it. It's not Kathleen Madigan. Don't guess that. She's dead to everyone. She doesn't exist anymore in comedy, and it's a great, great gift to me. Thank you so much for listening. That was mean, Nikki. Don't be so mean. Stop. Okay, I'm just joking. I really wish her the best. Her and her daughter, whatever. Even though I will say that when she got pregnant, I texted Amy Schumer like, "Oh my God, my bully is pregnant," and she goes, "You won!" And so that was a nice day in my life. All right, thank you guys so much for listening to the podcast. We will be back tomorrow. Don't you even think we won't? I am in Europe right now. We will be in London on, I believe, Friday night. So if you are in the UK, please come out and see us. We're on the European tour in the middle of it. This is a pre-taped episode. You didn't know until now, did you? Maybe you did because you saw my Instagram and I'm in Europe and you're like, how is she in St. Louis? But anyway, thank you so much for listening. We will see you on the podcast tomorrow. Don't be and just forgive everyone.